But how has the leadership role been for you now?
It's powerful because there was no daylight between Charlie and I, so I witnessed everything firsthand, front row seat.
And actually, if there is an enemy, and I believe there is, I think there's a hidden enemy in our culture today. And I think that enemy has three heads.
I had seen the dreams of a generation squashed by an evil menace. I made up my mind there and then to dedicate my life to seeing that this problem end in our lifetime.
Yeah, go ahead. With the beautiful red hair.
But I have to tell you something. I've really been praying about this because I feel as if Charlie wrote this book for me. These are his last words.
But sadly, she can't tell him how she feels, so instead, she follows him for a walk.
I've seen pieces of it. It's incredible, I tell you. I think it's going to do her. She did a book. I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned. He said he knew it was false. In fact, it's the exact opposite, that I was a friend of Russia, controlled by Russia. You know, it was the Russia hoax. He was one of the people behind it.
Selling author Stephen King has made a bold prediction about Donald Trump's legacy, and it's sparking a huge debate. In a recent interview with the Sunday Times, King warned in the coming decades there will be a major cultural backlash against Trump. The horror novelist believes that many of Trump's current supporters will one day deny ever voting for him.
I think it's going to do her. She did a book, and the book was a big
going on a media tour myself. This was for my husband.
This is what's important. Look at this pillar right here. You see how it's a pillar with a ball on the top of it? That's the same monument they have in Stranger Things to all the deceased in the show.
So, like all of you, this is our turning point as well, especially as we move into 2026.
Violence broke out during a Bob Roberts concert at Penn State University tonight. Sources say that between 20 to 30 students began verbally abusing the popular singer candidate midway into the concert. As they were being...
Some people must have. Some people have not. And they complain and complain and complain and complain and complain.
USA.
Him and I were not afraid of that. And that's also why the past several months, several weeks, I honored my husband by completing all of his pre-planned fall media tour hits for his book, any commitment he had. I wanted to honor that for him.
We will dream boldly, and nothing will stand in our way.
We have entered the death season, the winter, the dark winter, the darkness, winter, and death down here on the zodiac wheel. And these are how these rituals go down.
We'll do that. Lindsay, why doesn't everybody stand behind me? It's fine. I trust you all. Thank you very much, everybody. Would you like to come behind us? Come on over. Come on. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Where's Erika?
She's swearing in right now.
Just so your name is
Trump says construction of the Triumphal Arch will begin in 2 months.
What's the matter, Arch? I've never seen you so upset.
Oh, you never read the papers, huh? Do you know what's going on?
So the thing that's not going away is the Charlie Kirk, Erika Kirk, Deep State, Snake Eyes, Epstein, Trump fans, like all of that. Whatever that is, that's a hypnotic.
the Royal Arch. The White House is building a new ark, and I'll show you that. But here's the winter solstice, the death coffin.
It is a semicircular cave surrounded by rocks. There is fresh water nearby, which is important for its use as a fort. In addition, some of the rocks are at angles where they could be pushed onto the path, making it a very defensible location.
Just as the Rob Reiner Christmas murder.
On December 13th, 2025, Rob admitted he overreacted by sending him to a treatment center when he caught him using drugs. And Rob admitted that when Nick would tell us it wasn't working for him, we wouldn't listen.
You hear that? What are you going to do with them? They never learn.
You know, and I think that, at the end of the day, I know my child better than an expert does, and I probably should have trusted my own instinct.
I think he hurt himself in career-wise. He became like a deranged person, Trump derangement syndrome.
I mean, when you really think of the context of what that was, it's just insane. Like Rob Reiner as, an actor who was first introduced as the son-in-law of Archie Bunker. Like all the baby boomers are going to know this. They're going to know Rob Reiner was the one who was always fighting with his father-in-law, not his direct father.
When it's a question of the destructive man versus the creative man always gets the shaft.
Charlie wasn't just a speaker, he wasn't just a political thinker, he wasn't just a thought leader. Again, he was a bridge, he was a pathway, he was a connection point.
Pointing out how Nikki Glaser's wearing the gold and silver, and it goes into the bridge rituals.
About me, the more that you get to know me. I know I'm new here, but you'll learn. You'll learn.
Well, I'm studying in my sociology class.
I got to sit down and talk to you. Come on, sit right down here. I got my professorship in sociology,
Beelzebub swore never to forget this disgrace. From that day on, he devoted himself to the corruption of all creation, vowing to despoil the world until all that lived would be subject to his will and absolute rule. Beelzebub stalked into his great citadel in the seventh circle of hell. Here, he labored for the next 2,000 years to forge the crowning achievement of his dark genius, a plague of his own design. It would not only eclipse those his father sent to punish the pharaoh, but mar and corrupt all of creation.
It becomes this, almost like an eclipse, where the truth is hidden behind it. And yes, the light's still there, but you can't see it anymore. That's the enemy's tactic.
For what the Lord of Flies hungers for, above all, his other unnatural appetites, is the sole right to divine worship, a birthright he feels his father has usurped. In his mind, the natural order is for the parent to die, so that their offspring may rise in their place. And who more suited to take the throne of God than Beelzebub?
He said we were desperate, and because the people had diplomas on their wall, we listened to them when we should have been listening to our own son.
The parent your main job is to keep your child safe. So I would do anything. I felt at a loss, so I would do anything that, as we say in the film, anybody with a desk and a diploma, I would listen to them. And the whole idea of tough love and you have to be a certain way. And it's not my nature. It's not the way I am built, but I went and did that.
But to then be murdered by his son, like there is a strange poetic nature to that.
We will not be broken, and we will not fail from this day on.
Very quickly who is ready to go to war with you.
As they were being removed from the hall, the protesters attacked security guards and a melee ensued. Sources close to the candidate say that he is unharmed but, quote, upset at the preponderance of radicals on college campuses today. The 60s are over, said Roberts.
I couldn't agree more, Tana. Polls released today indicate that Brickley Pace is running neck and neck in his race against the folk-singing politician, Bob Roberts. Pace has been hurt recently by rumors of an affair with a teenage campaign worker, Tana. Although he has denied the allegations, Pace is not fully recovered in the polls.
We're marching for children. We're marching for the poor. We're marching for self-interest. We'll march forevermore.
I believe in Mr. Bob Roberts' background. If it is true that he has had some experience with the CIA, then he comes better prepared.
We have 5 major threats that make our grid extremely vulnerable that we've presented to congressional officials. 1 being cyber, 2 being hackers, 3 being physical threats, 4th one is solar EMP, and the 5th one is man-made EMP. So the concern that we have is that we put out this critical information, and when we go over this risk analysis, they hear what we're saying, but they don't want to take action.
And that's how our power plants are. The transformers are very susceptible to electromagnetic pulse and to these corona mass ejections. Corona mass ejections. Also, they're susceptible to people shooting at them. With AK-47s, like happened at one of our substations in California.
PG&E is still working to restore power right now to some customers after this weekend's massive Bay Area outage. Today, officials explaining what led to hundreds of thousands of customers losing their power.
KCRA 3's Ryan Curry joins us live in San Francisco right now. So, Ryan, we know a fire inside a PG&E building started this, but what else have they told you about what happened here?
Up in the Silicon Valley. Now, that substation was taken out for a very short period of time.
Now, once workers went back inside to start those repairs at the Mission Street substation, that's where it happened, they discovered the repairs were going to take a while, hence the reason why so many people were out of power for a long time. They said the fire damaged several breakers inside the substation leading to outages for customers all over the city.
But if that had gotten much more out of hand, actually the transformers were damaged. They weren't, they were damaged. They weren't taken like where they burnt out. But that's talking about Google, Facebook, Twitter, the whole Silicon Valley. That's
incredible.
You know, how that's our. You're talking of
that's the mecca of California, basically.
Yeah. I mean, could you imagine if we'd lost that? The amount of money that is.
And the book was a big #1 bestseller, and this is a movie. And it seems to be captivating a lot of people's attention. It's very good.
And the fact that Rob Reiner is so closely linked to Stephen King, like professionally, primarily through Castle Rock Entertainment.
But just know that nothing is by mistake. Nothing.
And the 3 heads that enemy has are ignorance and apathy and complacency. So what Wake Up America wants to do with entertainment is drive a stake through the heart of those 3 things.
That's also an invoice for hundreds of thousands of dollars that my generation's gonna have to pay off.
We're not out to make people wrong.
No, and to shift the paradigm, and I think it's also important too, the fact that with freedom, we're free to choose, we have free will, we're free, and
Christians must learn how to adequately defend and fight for these freedoms in this now, very important cultural battle that we're in.
I will never forget the time I was in Israel with my husband. That was the second time, but the first time with my mother on a pilgrimage. And I was standing in the ticket line, and I remember looking behind me, and in the snake of the ticket line was a guy who looked very familiar. I had no idea who he was. And I told my mom, this guy looks so familiar. And as a typical mother, she said, go and say hi. Go and say hi.
At one point, he gets separated from his companions and calls out, "Who is here?" To which Echo replies, "Here."
The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry.
Still unsure of where his stalker is, he calls again, "Come here," and she replies, "Come here." Narcissus says, "Avoid me not," and Echo says the same, and finally he yells, "Oh, let us come together."
He's basically saying, like, I am getting so much noise from everyone, and you guys get this too. You get the echo chamber, you get people analyzing everything about you. They think they know everything about you, they know nothing about you.
At that point, they meet in the middle, and Echo gets a little carried away. She wraps her arms around him, to which he basically says, "Don't touch me like that."
No. We were late for our flight, and I'm not going to come off like a crazy person that's just weird. That ended up being Charlie. Nothing is by coincidence. Now, did we know that? No, not until we were like 3 months into our relationship and looking at timestamps, seeing that both of us were in Israel at the same time.
And Echo, unable to endure the pains of rejection and loneliness any longer, let herself waste away.
It took me months to even walk into my bedroom.
SOS of Liberty believe that if we do not change the conversation back to us, the kids that are going to have to inherit this debt, that our economy will be stagnant for years to come. And our website, we have really interesting things. We have videos, pictures, trying to inspire the youth.
Robert, if you're seeing this, I'm probably dead.